Art. Some people actually see crypto and precious metals as completely competing ideas, and it's one or the other. But you talk about how they're often complementary. Can you talk
Yeah.
a little bit more about the relationship you see between the two?
Absolutely. And I'm actually really surprised there's not a bigger overlap. The only person I really see talking about both to an extent is Andy Schectman. And I'm going to give him another shout out. I think he's wonderful. And that's Miles Franklin Media, and they have their own bullion business. Very respected man in the industry. But it makes sense if you think of having like a cap supply or scarcity, that's precious metals and that's cryptocurrencies. So you would think one is a really good store of value. And obviously you can transact with gold and silver. I'm not saying that, but it's more of a store of value, in my opinion, to create generational wealth and pass that along over the years. And then cryptocurrencies, nowadays, they have been kind of like Bitcoin, obviously, is kind of been marketed as a store of value now as well. But I totally see that there are huge similarities with it being neutral, with it being censorship resistant, and obviously having crypto having a cap supplies and gold and silver being scarce. And then another thing I'd like to add on too is we're seeing now with the rise of the BRICS nations and countries ditching the United States treasuries. These countries don't want our debt anymore. They're leaning towards neutral assets like gold. So I think it just shows, like, if you're able to afford to buy gold right now, you also can't go wrong with gold.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that there's not many people talking about the overlap. Why do you think so many people tend to even pit crypto versus precious metals against one another?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think people are very tribal, like even within cryptocurrency communities. You see people that are Bitcoin maximalists, that are XRP maxis, and they hate each other, and they only want to hold one thing. And I've never understood that. So I think it really goes back to tribalism. Whereas if I see opportunities in many different places, I'm going to invest in things that I think are going to be successful. So I think there's not just going to be like one thing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So it's just human nature. We just
Human
like
nature.
to
Yeah.
find differences in each other and make that mean something more than it needs to.